Welcome back to my channel, guys. If you haven't checked out my other videos, make sure you check them out. Clarify, like I said before, this channel isn't strictly about one type of content. It's not just reviews. It's not just basketball videos. Like, I've done a whole different type of videos. I'm experimenting now. I mean, I don't have that many subscribers, so I feel like I'm allowed to experiment. I don't want to pigeon myself into one genre, right? I don't just want to make one specific type of video. So I feel like I'm allowed to experiment. Now I want to make a lot of different type of videos. So this is going to be a very different video from what I've done before. It's just going to be me reflecting on like my journey to self-actualization. In psychology, that's basically like feeling like you've accomplished your purpose. Yeah, so when I first got to high school, I really didn't know what I was doing. Like, I feel most people when they get to high school don't really know what they're doing. But I was in a weird situation. Being 14, as a teenage boy, being 14, that's probably the most awkward like stage of your life, especially in the situation I was in. I wasn't old enough to like keep myself busy. I wasn't old enough to like work. I was in a completely different environment from what I grew up in. Like, I moved from Nigeria, and I'm in a new country. I'm in a new environment. I didn't have friends. I didn't have anybody to talk to or hang out with. Like, it was the summer, so I was really just like alone. I was vulnerable, especially because I'm introverted. I was introverted back then, so it was hard for me to like be focused on like a thing to. There was nothing for me to do, so I really was. I was just lost. So I couldn't really play sports either because like my family couldn't afford me playing any sports back then. So I was completely lost. You know, like, general life just wasn't fulfilling. That's all. I don't say I was depressed. I wasn't really depressed. I was in a bad place. You know, with no friends, nothing to do, no job because I am not old enough to work. It was just like a bad like situation for me. And also, like, it didn't stop like going into the freshman year. Like, going into my freshman year was probably my worst year of high school because back then I didn't have any friends. It was bad. Like, I didn't have any friends at all until maybe like 4 months in, and even then I didn't have that many friends throughout my freshman year. Like, my senior year compared to my freshman year, I'm not the same person at all. Like, you look at me and how I like conducted myself, like the amount of friends I had, the amount of things I did. Like, freshman year and senior year, they are not comparable at all. So like, my sophomore year, it was completely different for me from my freshman year. Not because like it was necessarily a good thing. Like, it was kind of, I did things to make myself think I'm keeping myself busy. I like think I'm like fulfilling my purpose, like achieving what I want to achieve. When in reality, these are like those were like meaningless things that I was focused on. Right. So like, I remember I was going to the gym. That's probably the only meaningful thing that I was doing. But like, aside from going to the gym, I remember this girl. Like, I was in love with this girl, bro. I was in love with this girl. Obviously, she wasn't really interested in me, but I was like, I really liked this girl back then. So I was like, oh, like, that was one of the ways I kept myself busy. So I wouldn't go back to the place I was my freshman year. Like, I was hanging out with people that I don't really think had my best interest in mind. So like, the ways I was keeping myself busy weren't the most. They weren't the best things for me to be doing to help myself and to improve myself and to get me out of that place I was. Like, it got me out of that place. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the best way to do it. So then COVID hits. That was the best thing to ever happen to me. That was the lockdown. I would be complete. If that lockdown never happened, I would be a completely different person from who I am right now. I was 15 going into lockdown. Coming out of lockdown, I was 17. Those 2 years changed the course of my life. And now let me explain. I spent probably 5 to 6 months in lockdown, like completely like by myself. I didn't text anybody. I didn't call anybody. I was just with myself and my family. Those 6 months, I discovered myself. I discovered what goals I wanted to achieve. I'm not saying you need to spend 6 months in complete isolation because not everybody can handle it. I can probably spend like a month without talking to anybody, including my family or my friends. Like, I spend like a month. But other people, you might be naturally someone that's more social. I understand if you can't do that, but you just find a way to like find your purpose, find the goals you want to achieve, no matter how big or small those goals are. So for me, I discovered those goals were: one, self care. So things like regularly getting my hair cut because like I like looking good. I like feeling confident, like working out, and fashion. Like fashion is probably one of my favorite things. Like I love dressing up. I love looking good. Like buying a nice fit and like styling it. Like it's one of my favorite things to do. So for you, find those things that you love to do. Like currently, like aside from those things, like currently now I'm focusing on my goal, YouTube. I want to make sure this channel does well. So find your goals, find your interests, your hobbies, things you actually want to do, things are actually meaningful, things that you think will make a decent contribution to your life and make a positive impact on you. Like you don't like it just has to have a positive impact on you, on your own life. Take control of your life. I feel like that taking control of your life would help you fully achieve self actualization. And that's just my opinion. And remember to always be consistent with whatever goals you set for yourself, whether it's in the gym. Like you have to be consistent, regardless of how little work you do is better than doing nothing. You just have to be fully consistent with everything you do. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and come back to the channel for more content coming soon. Odabo.